Welcome everybody to the Atlantic County Board of County Commissioners. The meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners is called to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office at Mays Landing. Before we do the opening prayer, I am going to ask for a moment of silence as we pray today. I'd ask that we keep in our hearts those who have lost their lives and their families this month, including recently retired police officer Joseph Falcone of Egg Harbor Township, and tragically lost his life in a motorcycle accident. Assemblyman Mazzeo, we'll keep him and his family in our prayers as he's lost his mother. I'd ask also that we keep the people of Afghanistan, especially the women and children, in such a horrific humanitarian tragedy. And we also have John Battisti, the ex-mayor, or we always a mayor?
Former mayor of Estelle Manor.
Former mayor of Estelle Manor. So I thank you all for that. Almighty God, we pray for the strength and courage to work towards a nation and world of peace and understanding. Grant that our decisions be wise, our principles sound, and our performance in an office faithful. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, and then we'll please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll have a roll call.
Madam Chairwoman, Commissioner Days will not be here today. He's out of town, and Commissioner Gatto is under the weather.
Thank you.
Ballas?
Here.
Bertino?
Here.
Corsi?
Present.
Fitzpatrick?
Here.
Risley?
Here.
And Kern.
Here. Okay, commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from June 29th and July 6th, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to adopt June 29th and July 6th, 2021 minutes as presented.
Motion. Second.
Motion been made and second. We'll call the roll.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Okay, our public notice for each meeting now. Anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium and state your name and the town you reside. If you're attending virtually, please type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please again state your name and the town you reside.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, you mind if I speak now so I can roll?
Sure. I mean,
It's not specifically on an agenda item,
oh, okay.
but I just wanted to come out and say hello. Just put it simply to say hello to everyone. Make sure everyone knows that
Your name and your.
oh, I'm sorry,
where you
Vince
reside.
Palestina, Egg Harbor Township. I just want to make sure everybody knows the legislative office remains open. Still in the same spot where Senator Brown had the legislative office in Linwood on Route 9. The number actually remains the same as when I was back in the legislature 10 years ago, 609-677-8266. So any of your constituents that need help, unemployment, Division of Motor Vehicles, whatever the case may be, I just want to make sure everybody knows that that office is functioning. Staff is still in place. So anybody who needs help, please just refer them over and we'll give them the assistance they need.
And thank you very much for that, for being there for
Absolutely. And
everyone.
thank you, everyone. Thank you for your service. I'll be going to my next meeting. Great to see everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, very good. Very good. How you doing? See you.
Okay, I want to thank Kathy Kish for being with us today and to commend the work that she and her team, along with the various organizations throughout Atlantic County, for their work and creativity they have utilized in order to support our residents with mental illness during this pandemic. We can all agree that the pandemic has had a devastating impact on all of our well-being as individuals and as a community. And I've seen Kathy and her whole group, with all the organizations, do quite a bit, and they've worked hard through all this. So, Kathy, welcome. You might be on mute. Is she on mute?
Sound like you, Patino.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Am I coming in clearly?
you are now.
Perfect.
Hi, Kathy.
Okay. Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm going to ask your indulgence for 1 minute as I read a piece, just a paragraph from Dr. Joshua Gordon, who's the director of the National Institute for Mental Health. It was published in an article in April of 2020, and it's entitled 1 Year in COVID-19 and Mental Health. From prior research on disasters and epidemics, we mostly knew what to expect. In the immediate wake of traumatic experience, large numbers of affected people report distress, including new and worsening symptoms of depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Most people will recover, though that recovery can take some time. A notable fraction of people will develop chronic symptoms severe enough to meet criteria for mental illness, such as post-traumatic stress disorder or major depressive disorder. People who are experiencing more severe stressors, such as exposure to death and dying, and people with more prolonged disruptions are more likely to experience enduring symptoms that would benefit from intervention. We all know that people are more likely to develop chronic or severe reactions if they have one or more risk factors, such as poor social supports, financial difficulties, food or housing instability, or a history of mental illness. I just think that it kind of sets the tone for a couple more of the slides. Tara, if you can go to the next one. I tried to find slides that were more recent, or surveys that were more recent, but as of June of 2020, the CDC one survey noted that adults reported 31% more symptoms of anxiety and depression, 13% started and increased substance use, 26% stress-related symptoms, 11% having serious thoughts of suicide in the past 30 days. And these numbers are really double the rates that you would have expected before the pandemic. And again, there are certain risk factors that most all studies indicate that are also very common sense. Again, food insecurity, financial concerns, loneliness. So June 2020 sounds like a very long time ago. What has happened since then? I found further information of May of 2021. Basically, nothing has changed in terms of an elevated level. Nothing has gone down or up. It's remained as was in 2020. And again, the causes are indicated as job loss, juggling from work and home, dealing with cooped up kids, grief and loss of social cohesion as a result of these restrictions. The next slide, again, I was looking at trying to find data more recent. It's in the United States, not specific to New Jersey or Atlantic County, but I particularly like the study because the Pew Research Center, and it was done in 2021, and they had about 10,000 people. They interviewed in March of 2020 and the same 10,000 people in February of 2021. They created a psychological distress scale, which had questions about anxiety, sleeplessness, depression, loneliness, and physical symptoms of distress. If you just go up to the top left-hand corner where there's a star and an arrow, you can see that there really hasn't been much change, maybe a slight decrease. In the high distress column, 24% of adults in the United States experienced a high level of psychological distress, and it went down not much, 21%. I have looked at other studies where they're saying half of the population is experiencing problems and distress. And you can see that if you add the 21% plus 24, you're coming up with 45% of the population is medium to high distress. The study looked at a lot of different indicators. I just want to mention again, lower income people, financial troubles relate to strongly a correlation of psychological distress. Adults 18 to 29, I think that really relates to the level of disruption of people's lives. Younger people are leaving college, starting careers, family, and I think the level of impact in that particular population is greater. And lastly, disability is very high at 36% of the population of people with disability had high distress. That could be related, again, if you have a pre-existing physical condition, could be related to lower incomes in general of people with disability. It could also have an impact on if you have a mental illness prior to the pandemic and you're dealing with that stress in addition to your mental health needs. Next slide, please. Again, because this has all been adults, I just wanted to find at least one piece of information to share with you specific to New Jersey, which I was happy to find. And again, talking about just children. The New Jersey Hospital Association has done quite a study in terms of people that are going to the emergency department. I particularly liked it because it showed 4 years actually, from 2017 to 2020. For youth that went to the emergency department, anxiety had been slightly increasing, as you can see, over the years, but 220 hit and it jumped up by 74%, all the way up to 2.12. Depression, it jumped up from 219 to 220 by 84%, but a very significant increase, although the number is very small. It's only 0.56% up to 1.07%, but it's a 91% increase on children coming in with drug and substance use. So again, everyone in the study that they had reviewed had experienced change, but it was really significant and dramatic for children under the age of 18. One last chart and the next page, Tara, if you could flip. I just wanted to mention suicide rates because really very early in the pandemic, there was a lot of concern that the numbers of suicide would increase. And I'm very happy to say that the statistics from the CDC for the state of New Jersey doesn't hold true. It's really been very steady. The rates have not changed much. Now, that's not true necessarily for every state, but in the state of New Jersey, it has. The next slide, Tara. I just wanted to mention what's been done and what's being done. At the beginning, it was quite a turnaround to the mental health agencies in the community to flip to telehealth. The whole way of doing business changed in working with people that were coming in for therapy, medication, day programs, partial care. Everything had to flip to some type of virtual, especially while we were on lockdown. Currently, most agencies are operating with some type of hybrid system where they are coming in for appointments or virtual. I think it depends on the person, the situation, their preferences, but telehealth was the key in keeping the services available to the community. Pretty quickly, New Jersey got the grant from FEMA and SAMHSA. I don't know if people are familiar with New Jersey Hope and Healing. They were very active during Sandy. They had a new way of trying to reach people for support. The hotline number was made available, but then getting the word out to people, because in previous years during Sandy, they were at events, they were in front of ShopRite, they were doing a lot of outreach. Now it came to doing a lot more virtual and creative ways to try to get the word out about Hope and Healing. They went to food banks. The food banks were open. They were trying to get them into grocery bags. They kudos to our Department of Public Health. Any person that came through for testing for COVID received a packet of information, and we made sure that they had that card for New Jersey Hope and Healing and the brochure, a phone call to connect with. Another piece has been added to Hope and Healing. It's the crisis counseling program, where if someone is calling that hotline and they clearly need more help than just a supportive call, they will refer them to the agencies that are designated through Hope and Healing to provide crisis counseling. Many virtual support groups are ongoing through Hope and Healing. The calendar changes every month. The New Jersey Mental Health Association is doing everything and anything, healthcare workers, first responders, very specific to specific populations, teenagers, parents. You're not doing this alone. They're psychoeducational as well as support. You might find some on strategies for mindfulness or yoga, navigating as a student, especially for college students through this period of time. So there's a tremendous amount, again, of virtual support through New Jersey Hope and Healing. The next slide. If you could, I just wanted to mention 2 big tranches of money that are coming through the Division of Mental Health and Addictions. The federal block grant for COVID emergency relief. It's $22.6 million specifically to assist people with persistent mental illness that have been, it's really been exacerbated by COVID. In addition to that, there's a block grant for substance use for about $45.1 million. Again, that's coming through the state. I don't know if you really want me to go over the different programs that they envision happening, but again, it's all for acute care and people with serious mental illness. Next slide, please. The second tranche of funding right now is the American Rescue Plan Act. The mental health block grant is roughly $39 million. There is one also specific for substance abuse. It's, again, about the same amount, $39 million. The state just applied early July, and funds will be released soon. I don't have any specific information about how those funds will be designated, except that many of the previously described programs on the other slide will have funds attached to it to extend those programs that would have ended in 2023 to go up to 2025. So next slide, please. And this is the last slide, again, keeping mindful of your time. I wanted to make sure I brought up the issue of stigma. I think if you have to look at COVID as having an impact on mental health, I think it has us all talking about it. I think that it brings up a lot of commonality, and hopefully by talking about it and people realizing that people can seek help and talk to someone, we're reducing stigma. Stigma and shame is unfortunately still a reason why people don't seek help. I'm going to put a little wish in here that, as COVID has shown, you have to integrate physical health and mental health. It's really not separate. There's been talk over the years, again, about integrating physical, behavioral, and mental health together, and there are certainly steps that are going on a statewide level for that. But my hope is, out of COVID, there's even more integration with physical and mental health. If you check out the county website, I've tried to put up some COVID resources, the links to the hotline, the Mental Health Association, some of the other hotlines. And again, there's also a lot of information on the website for the Children's System of Care, which are all the services through Perform Care and the support for children and families. And that's really my presentation. I'd like to answer any questions if anyone has any. Be more than happy to.
Pat, can you explain the implications, like with the physical and mental health, like the difficulties, that you run into with that? Some people may not be aware of that.
I think that there's a disjointed amount of care sometimes when people are looking for physical health. They're not always heard, especially when the main issue comes up or is brought up that there's a mental health diagnosis. So the actual physical care of people with mental health, there are studies that have been done that show it's just lagging. The physical care is lagging behind for people with mental health. It doesn't get always seen together. You go to a physician for one thing or a mental health counselor. There are new initiatives. Again, I don't want to downplay that. The community, certified community mental behavioral health clinics, we have one from Atlantic Care that's in our county, and they really look at the whole person. They have physical as well as mental health, peer support. They have targeted case management. It's a complete kind of wraparound system. And again, I think that's the goal. I think it's got a lot of steps yet. You have licensing in one type of facility for physical health, mental health, and substance abuse with different licensing and different entities. And I think the state is working on really working that integration. But I think it's got a ways to go yet. But I'm hoping there's, a silver lining in COVID to that extent.
Thank you, Kathy. Do any of the commissioners have?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say to Kathy that we appreciate what you do ever so much. You've been with the county a long time, and it is appreciated. And I know you do a great job because you care. You truly care about your work and what you're doing to help people. And we thank you. Thank you very, very strongly because somebody has to do this, and somebody has to care and get people the help that they need. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And my phone number is at the bottom of the slide, and I'm easy to find on the county webpage too. So anyone can call me with questions, or if you're looking for guidance to connect to the system, whether that's adult or children, just to give me a call. Thank you very much for your time.
Kathy, I also want to commend you and the people, the agencies that you have on the board. They all spent quite a bit of time during the pandemic, and probably still now, reaching out to individuals that they know are missing meetings or that are already in the system to make sure that they're getting where they need to be, or anything that was online for them. And I know a lot of effort was going into that by all of your organizations, and Bob, you were doing a fabulous job with that and getting the information out as well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks. Anybody else have anything? Okay, Kathy, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Okay. That brings us into our resolutions, and we will have resolution 430.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Health for the Childhood Lead Exposure Prevention Project, amount not to exceed $207,000.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
I have a couple questions. Okay, thanks. To Jerry. So, lead paint was banned in 1978. Is this a big problem in the county?
It is in Atlantic City. I think you heard Pat say in the past about lead paint was the fact that because we're near the seashore, that lead paint was used very frequently. And so, yeah, it's still an issue. I mean, I know they have cases in Cara. It is on Miss Jansen, the new division director. She may be able to give us some numbers offhand. I mean, I think I saw her up there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yes, the question was about the prevalence of lead paint. Atlantic City and some of the older communities as well, including Egg Harbor City and Ventnor City, occasionally also have issues with lead paint. It was very common practice to paint over paint and have multiple layers. And then as time would go on, the top layers would fade away, there'd be some chipping, and that is how the children would become exposed today.
Okay, thanks. And then I just want to follow up. I see that we have number 443, which is also lead poisoning prevention in Atlantic City. But 442 is water testing, I think. Is that for lead as well?
No, 442, the one with the Utilities Authority, Cara.
That's for potable and drinking water sampling.
Okay, thank you.
But we under 430 and 443, we do the sampling for the lead, but we are sampling the paint chips.
Just, lead in water is a hot
Yes.
button issue right now,
Yes,
so that's why I
correct.
wanted to ask that question.
And they do that. I mean, one of the things is the nitrates, I don't know if you wanna go through like, nitrites in the western end of the county because they use chemicals, for fertilizing, things like that. So she can go through that with you, and we use the ACUA's lab to test those water.
Thank you. I'm good.
Thank you. Do I have any other questions or concerns from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes. Motion carries. Resolution 431.
Grant application to the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission for innovations funding, amount not to exceed $120,000.
Motion.
second.
Motion has been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing and hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. And I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions number 426, 427, chapter 159.
There's no 426, 27.
Yeah.
We got 432 to 434.
432 to 434.
I'll make the motion to combine and adopt 432
to 434.
434.
Thank you.
Second.
What agenda are you looking at, Madam Chair, last week?
Yeah, you know.
It's all the fish concept. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. Okay, the motion's been made in second. And do any of the commissioners have any comments?
Madam Chair, I just have one. Just to Jerry, 434, the Operation Helping Hand. In the backup, it doesn't really say what it is. I know it's through the prosecutor's office, but
Right.
what is that? What's that deal with?
Those are the dollars that go to the vehicle that the sheriff has, and it helps with recovery of counseling.
Okay, that's the Operation Helping
Yeah,
Hand.
right,
Got it.
right.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
Okay, any other comments from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 435.
Bid contract with GJ Auto Repair and Service Limited Liability Corporation and Belmar Collision Center Incorporated for body and fender repairs to Atlantic County vehicles. Amount not to exceed $65,000.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 436.
Bid contract with AE Stone Incorporated for the resurfacing of Columbia Road, County Route 693, Sections 1B, 1C, in the town of Hamilton, amount not to exceed $1,467,000.
Moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Mr. Bertino, will we have any impact in Hamilton on this?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. With respect to it, it's just a repaving project. We've been doing some work out around the bridge area out there on Columbia Road. I know we were trying to do some easements to try to straighten out some of the turns and curves and to make it more of a straighter runway. I don't believe we were at all that successful. If we were, it's minor. So this is just a normal highway improvement fund project for that area. It's out near the airport out there, so it should help a little bit with not only with the agricultural use, which is tremendous. It's all blueberry farmers going through there, bringing their products to market. It's also going to help a little bit with the airport as well.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, well, roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 437.
Bid contract with Fred M. Chavone Construction Incorporated for Phase 3 of the Lake Lenape Park East renovations. Amount not to exceed $4,850,000.
Moved.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just ask Jerry what this consists of.
will include the beach wall. Inside the catering tent, there is a leveling of the floor and dehumidification. There's going to be a concert hall put up on the outside, and then some landscaping of the park. And Jerry's on, he can go through some of the more technical. Jerry, you there?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Amy,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
because that's her little.
Yes, I'm here, Jer. Hello, commissioners.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is
Hello.
the final third phase of 3 phases here for the park, Lake Lenape. There's various things getting done. We're like Jerry mentioned, we're waterproofing the basement, the catering hall basement. We're taking down the floating dock and fishing pier, which is pretty much rotting off of the building now. We're adding ADA stairs to the catering hall, to the basement, to the beach, which there is none now. Extensive, the entire wall, the retaining wall is crumbling, so that's being replaced. Jerry mentioned the concert pavilion. We're installing a concert pavilion, also another one of the pavilions for the picnics. Doing extensive lighting, all new lighting bollards, a new driveway, new parking lot, pretty much resurfacing the sign out front. A lot of landscaping. It's the final phase. It's everything wrapped up that we've been trying to get finished.
I just want to remind the board that at one time we had come in with a price for the entire job. We were asked by the board at that time, some of you are not here, other board members, but we were asked to go phase that in. So this is the last phase of that. So that's why if it seems like it's been a long project, a long involved, it's because we were asked to do this, as we were asked to do for Estelle Manor. We had come to the board with Estelle Manor, one big price to do everything. We were asked to phase that in over time, which we've done. So.
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
How many people will that concert venue seat? And what kind of concerts is that gonna be?
Well, actually, I believe it's a pavilion, which allows for the orchestras and bands and everything to be up there. And then again, where it's placed, we could see, probably in the park. Again, we've had up to, it depends on how you fill that park, but you can fit up to 3,000, 4,000 people as we do for the rowing. So it depends on where you stand or sit. I mean, seating, I guess you maybe get, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500 chairs, depending on how you arrange them. But I mean, in the park itself, for rowing, there's like 3,000 people standing around. So if you want to just listen to music, you could fill it.
Okay, so it's not like an amphitheater,
No,
it's a pavilion.
it's just, yes,
Got it.
exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
It's replacing what
Commissioner
we had there originally, it fell apart. Right, correct.
I just wanted to note, for the record too, this is part of our program a few years ago where we took some of our parks that were sitting there as passive, there were nothing. And there was no activity going on, and we kind of made a commitment at the county level at that time to make the investment into it because our residents not only were requesting it, but we thought it was a nice opportunity in some of the towns that don't have these facilities. We're in a centralized location like here, at Hamilton in the center near the county seat. It would be a best practice and a good use for it. So that's part of this, the last phase of them.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Kind of goes along with the mental health
Yeah.
thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Do we have any other comments from the commissioners, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes,
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 438.
Bid contract with Delta Line Construction Company to provide emergency signal repairs at various county locations, amount not to exceed $98,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments or questions from our commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
yes,
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 439.
438. Let's see, I was wrong this time.
Yeah.
going around.
Acquisition of additional right-of-way to accommodate resurfacing of Columbia Road along block 5702, lot 11, block 5301, lot 21 in the town of Hamilton, amount not to exceed $2,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments, questions from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 440.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Hamilton Township Municipal Utilities Authority regarding relocation of utilities in connection with replacement of County Bridge HML 66 New York Road in Hamilton Township, amount not to exceed $225,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments for the commissioners? Seeing here.
This one. Sorry.
Commissioner Bertino?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jerry, to you, I have a couple of residents that are talking about the timeline
Yeah.
on us for doing the project. Do we have it now that we got the utility issues worked
Yeah,
out?
and Mark is on, Mark can talk a little bit about also something a little bit different that they're doing with the utilities and where they're placing them versus where they were. Mark, you're on, correct? You're supposed to be here. John, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Jerry.
Okay. Did you hear the question?
No.
Was just the whole issue about the timeline for the, New York
Okay.
Avenue.
Yeah,
Bridge,
New York Avenue Bridge, right now it's on schedule to be, put into construction in the next couple of weeks, awarding the contract. And then, the emergency contract, and then construction will start. We're hopeful that it could be finished, by October, November of this fall. So that's the reason that we pushed for the emergency contract back a couple months when the bridge was first taken out of circulation. Otherwise, this would have gone for a full 2-year time period closed. So we're hopeful to have it reopened to traffic by the middle of this fall. Like I said, October, November at the latest.
So if you read your
Yes,
summary, your
sorry.
summary's talking about February. They think with good weather, they can get it done by November.
Very good.
That's, and I should have said that, the caveat is that everything
Weather.
works out just perfectly.
Permits.
It should be done
Construction.
this year. I should never give a date.
I got you on record.
Also, don't get any snow in October.
One thing I've
November.
learned, it's about roads. Never promise.
Do we have any, thank you, John. And do we have
Sure.
any other comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 441.
Shared services agreement with the Township of Galloway for snow removal, street sweeping, and lawn maintenance at the Galloway Township Library. Amount not to exceed $10,950.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to resolution 442.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with the Atlantic County Utilities Authority to provide laboratory testing services. Amount not to exceed $35,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 443.
Sub-grant agreement with the City of Atlantic City for the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention Program project. Amount not to exceed $70,500.
motion,
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none. Anything from the public? All right, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
yes,
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 444.
Transfer ownership of a pickup truck not needed for county use to the City of Estelle Manor, no cost.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm
Commissioner
really
Corsi.
being facetious. Now, Jerry, this is not gonna be one of the vehicles that come back to us like the last meeting, is it?
No.
Okay.
It's probably one you used to drive. It's probably one away.
I figured I'd take a little cheap shot. Okay.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Bisley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 445, please.
Emergency contract with Delta Line Construction for emergency signal repairs due to a vehicle accident and excavator accident, amount not to exceed $53,827.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, Madam Chair, just one question.
Yeah.
So this is different than 438
Yes.
so this is a,
Four thirty-eight
this is a
is the new
specific
bid
one?
for the next period, and this is the amended grant that we had prior to the new bid. There were two accidents that, the amount of money left, we could not, there was nothing there, so we had to amend that contract. I do want to say that Greg Brookins, our Public Works Director, did say in the Budget Subcommittee that we'll subrogate these. It'll go to insurance will
Right.
look at it. So
We should get most of this
hopefully
back
we'll
from
get-
insurance.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Okay, any other comments from the commissioners? Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Rutino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Bisley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 446.
Emergency contract with Multi-Temp Mechanical for an emergency temporary chiller for the county office building, amount not to exceed $200,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from our commissioners?
Do we really need this?
Anything done to keep us from getting struck by lightning again? Do we have a lightning rod or anything?
I'm not sure how that happened. I mean, Jerry's here, he can explain what's on our buildings. Jerry, are you there about, lightning hitting our buildings and being able to protect ourselves?
There we have, commissioners, we have lightning rods all over the top of our building. It's sometimes, you get a power surge, you still get one. There's no way I can get a clear explanation from Atlantic City Electric or anybody else. We've had various surges in a couple different buildings over the years. This one, just caught us at a bad time.
Okay, thank you.
Right in the middle of summer.
I want to say they did a real good job in getting, I would say, within 5 days, 6 days,
Yeah, it's
probably it
amazing.
was up and running. And I don't know if you've been by the building, it's huge. I mean,
Trailer, right? It's like a
Yes.
trailer.
Correct. Yeah.
And came from Texas, right?
I believe it was Ohio. Is it this one from Ohio, Jeff?
Yeah, this one came from Ohio. It's a 300-ton portable chiller, electric panel box, a gigantic pump that you can't see. It's in the back of the trailer, just to be able to pump the chilled water up to the 9th floor mechanical room, and then throughout the building. So it was pretty good project.
Yeah, and it did go pretty quick in 5 days.
Yes.
Commissioner?
Madam Chair, yeah, Jerry and Jerry Shaw. Where are we at with the schedule of the replacement of the entire HVAC system that we've already approved?
Okay. Well, okay, Jeff, why don't you go through that?
timeline.
So we're still waiting on submittals from Dolan. Dolan was awarded both of those, so it should make it a lot easier dealing with one contractor doing both projects. We're still probably a month away from getting all the submittals. Then they'll order the materials that they need, and we'll start replacing. Probably a year for everything to be done.
Because Jerry will go through this.
Yes.
But just remember, you got to do it during the season. So you can't replace the chiller in the summer, and you can't replace the boilers in the winter. So you got to wait for the appropriate season. So that's why it takes that long. I mean, we've had to go through this with POSH. So we've done that with POSH. I mean, some of the employees were complaining about temperatures, things like that. So, but if you look at the schedule, you'll see when it's hot, you can't replace the chiller. So when it's warm, or when it's cold, you can't replace the boilers, and that's what's happening. It'll be seasonal kind of work. The other question would be the criminal courthouse. Why do you go through criminal courthouse? Because I think we've started some of that work at criminal courthouse, which you voted on as well. We're doing work there.
Right, well, criminal courthouse, they've already ordered the two HVAC systems for the roof. They actually ordered them before we even had a signed contract, because it was about 4 months out just to get the materials. So we're going to be starting here with the county office building. We're going to, well, again, once I get an actual schedule from the contractor, which will probably be within the next week or two, and we'll have everything laid out, how they're going to start, what they're going to start with first. They'll order all, if we get the submittals and they get approved by the engineer, then we can go ahead and order the materials, all the equipment. And hopefully this time next year, it'll all be done.
And what's the life expectancy or warranty period on a unit of this magnitude?
That's a great question. We've got, this is a chiller that the boards burned up and took the surge, and the boards all burned up. There's no warranty on that kind of stuff, on electrical boards. We can't get them. They're 37 years old. So, I mean, it would have taken us months and months and months to try to locate them if we could even, in fact, fix the chiller. That's why we got the portable. But warranties, to be honest, Commissioner, I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just asking.
There's different motors. There's different motors that have 10-year warranties. Some compressors have a 10-year warranty, a 5-year warranty. But I don't have it in front of me.
But it seems as though the criminal courthouse isn't really that old. I guess time goes by quick, so it probably is. That system being replaced already.
No. These are separate. These were never replaced with that other equipment that was put in the basement. These are up on the rooftops.
Right.
These are original, and these were again, I don't have a date on how old they are. They got to be. They handle all the courtrooms.
Old courthouse, not the.
Got it. So not the criminal courthouse.
No, it's the old criminal courthouse. Yeah, I should have said they refer to it as the government record.
The government records office. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just so you know, the criminal courthouse, there's 5 or 6 large units up there that each one has 4 compressors in it, and they go. I mean, the building's 20 years old. The compressors go after we replaced a couple a year ago, 2 years ago.
Lucky you get 10 years out of
it. Yeah. Well, especially with the salt air in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry. Anything else from the commissioners? See none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 447.
Amendments to the Atlantic County Radio Network Agreement with the City of Linwood to authorize sub-license agreements, including Inspira Medical Centers Incorporated as a provider of certain emergency services for the city. No cost.
Move.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 448.
Amendments to the Atlantic County Radio Network Agreement with the City of Northfield to authorize sub-license agreements, including Inspira Medical Centers Incorporated as a provider of certain emergency services for the city. No cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing, hearing none, anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Take us to 449.
Alternate method contract with the Election Systems and Services Limited Liability Corporation for the purchase of electronic voting machines for early voting. Amount not to exceed $1,041,292.
Move.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. So I just want to say that I had a conversation with the superintendent of elections. It was a great conversation. She said she was very grateful for this new equipment. The electronic poll book's really going to make her job a lot easier and get results a lot quicker. But my question is, the last sentence of the summary says the 2021 general election will utilize Atlantic County's existing fleet of Advantage voting machines. Is that these new ones or something else?
No, Maureen is on, I'll let her explain, but yes, for the general election, they're gonna use the existing machines.
You mean the old ones?
Yes, correct, because she's, well, let her explain this. It's good for the county, and I'll give you from the county's perspective. They think that early voting should reduce the amount of people going to the general election.
So these new ones are for the
So-
early voting.
Yeah, for early voting. But let Maureen go through the thought process that she has. So, Maureen, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank
Okay,
you
great.
for your time and consideration, commissioners. So the e-poll books will become commonplace not just for early voting, but for all elections moving forward. However, the new technology in the way of the ES&S voting machines will be exclusive to early voting only for the time being. So, so let me be very clear as well. I'll put it right out there. We are dealing with the Advantage machines, which are wonderful, trustworthy, go through a lot of testing, state mandated. However, they are representative of, they are aging as we speak, and parts do become harder to get a hold of. However, once we open up early voting to the general public, it's at least my feeling as superintendent of elections that it might be a prudent thing to do. See how it goes, understand the popularity of early voting, understand the turnout and its impact on election day voting, because folks are going to have 9 days to vote in advance of the general election. And then sort of regroup, see where we're at, see whether or not the Board of Elections through redistricting or the state considers any kind of consolidation whatsoever, and then begin our planning responsibly to potentially replace the balance of our fleet of voting machines, that is. So this is where we're at. The whole state is debuting early voting. We're very excited about this offering for the public, but it does come with a price tag, being reimbursed, of course, by the state. So, but we're all taxpayers, whether you're talking about Atlantic County or the state of New Jersey, right? So it's our feeling to be as responsible as we can with the money, while at the same time offering this new product and service to our voters.
Thank you, Maureen.
You're
Jerry, do
welcome.
we have
Thank you
an
for your consideration.
Stay on a little bit, we might have another one. Do we have an estimate on what the early voting is gonna cost Atlantic County this year?
Well, you see these two resolutions, roughly 2 million.
Yeah.
With the board, I mean, they've given us a large number of people. I had a conversation with Maureen yesterday about some of the things she's asking for. So Maureen, why don't you go through what you think it might cost you as in general for the election, the election, early voting as well as the general election, with staffing.
So my office, the Office of the Superintendent of Elections, will at least temporarily be increasing its staff to handle early voting because it's a new offering. We're renovating our warehouse to accept this new equipment. And by the way, that is
Lost you, yeah. I don't know if, I was gonna ask Diana to do the board. I think they've done some calculations on the board.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened to Maureen. Diana, are you there? Did you do any calculations on the board? I know that we've spoken to the board clerks and everything. Do you have some rough numbers that we could use for the Board of Commissioners?
the pandemic and everything else. It is what it is. And we want to make sure that this is a success for New Jersey. So insofar as what additionally it will cost to our county, there's certainly the cost of salaries.
How about I do this, how about I'll sit down with budget and we'll talk to Maureen, we'll get a number and I'll give it to you as an email.
That'd be great, and if everybody gets that, and just the type of support we're getting from
No,
the
I
state
think,
on it all.
yeah, and I think you and Commissioner Rizzi have been raising the issue about the cost of elections, you know, with the new concepts, all mail ballots for this year, and then this year with early voting.
Outside of our people workers and how with apologies if you lost
Only
me.
because, and how much of that is being state funded, if not all.
With apologies for a bad connection.
Yeah, you have a bad connection. So what's gonna happen, Jerry will get us the information, Maureen, because you keep fading in and out, so you must be in a bad location. So we don't want to hear you keep fading in and out, so maybe we get the information from Jerry to our chairwoman.
Thank you, Commissioner Corsi.
Yeah, that's the quickest way to put it.
Absolutely. Commissioner Bertino.
Just one quick question, and maybe when you're getting the information for the board members, they could add this. With the new advent of these new machines that are going out, I've had the opportunity to explain to some of the public what they can expect, because a lot of people believe with this new the machines are similar to the old ones, and I go, they are not. I don't know what kind of information that's going out, how the Board of Election is handling the information for the early voting center, if they're doing ads to papers,
You may have
explaining the process.
there, and sorry for that.
That's it. All right, that would be something I think, just curious what the plan is with the board to do that.
I said, well, we probably have to mute her.
Sorry.
Sorry, Maureen. It happens. Okay, got a big yawn out of it.
Yeah.
Do we have any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, anything from the public? Great, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 450, please.
Agreement with Election Systems and Services Limited Liability Corporation for the purchase of 400 electronic poll books required for early voting. Amount not to exceed $980,475.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. I didn't know if you wanted to.
Please.
Okay. Okay, that brings us resolution 451.
Resolution in memory of Reverend Ezekiel Graham Bay of Egg Harbor City, sponsor Commissioner Ernest B. Corsi.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from our commissioners?
Madam Chair, if I may, just for 30 seconds, we discussed this at the last meeting. As we indicated, Reverend Bay had been a pillar in the community for over 33 years as the pastor of Union Baptist Church. The resolution speaks for itself. Former freeholder / Commissioner Bennett, it's her godfather, and we wanted to make sure we let her know our thoughts and prayers with her and the family and the Bay family. So we thought it was appropriate we do a resolution in honor and recognition and memory of Reverend Bay. We ask that
And we'll have this mailed.
mailed to perhaps former Commissioner Bennett. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from our commissioners?
Madam Chair, I had the occasion to meet him a few times. Don't know him, real well, but always was, welcoming, great guy. The community will miss this gentleman immensely.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from our commissioners? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Anything from the public? Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes the written portion of our agenda. Any reports of special committees of the board? Okay, seeing none. Any unfinished business? Seeing none, any new business? Okay, I think Bonnie is here, and Bonnie, you wanted to have a discussion of bond issue?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I wanted to take an opportunity just to report to the board that the county sold $28 million in bonds at the end of June. That included $3.95 million of county state aid with the county college bonds and $3.95 million of the state aid county college bonds. We had 5 bidders. I won't go through the full list, but Huntington Security was the winning bid with a net interest cost of 1.76%, and that's for an 18-year period of financing.
Very good.
Any comments from our commissioners or questions for Bonnie?
That's my
Wonderful.
mortgage company.
Nice job.
That's my
Yeah.
mortgage company.
Great
That
job.
interest.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bonnie. We greatly appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any new business they'd like to discuss?
Madam Chair?
Yep.
Just for the public, as everybody know, we had a wonderful slamming, bamming weekend in Atlantic City. I seen a few of y'all down at the Fish concert in your disguise, and I won't put y'all on blast, but I did take a couple of y'all's pictures. So we saw the other side of y'all, for real, for real. It was
My twin brother.
It was
My twin
you know,
brother.
why you? I didn't even say nothing.
You blame
told on
Vivian
yourself.
and his twin anyway.
But for 3 days, I tell you, the weather was great, and there was no issues other than heat. People were out; they enjoyed themselves. It was good for the region. I don't know how in the hell anybody pays $700 a night for a room, but that's what they were paying. But it was great. I mean, you at Tropicana, y'all know the town was just packed and jammed. On top of that, we had the Coachella car show on Baylor Field. That was another 10,000 people, and it was a one-day event, 2 nights of beach bar parties. But it goes to tell you, folks were excited to get out. I hope they use caution as they were out in terms of masks. I didn't expect to see that at the Fish concert, but as you know, tomorrow is another big day. We have the air show, and traffic is going to be off the hook, off the chain. But we just hope people enjoy themselves. The weather's still good. I got a preview, as most of us probably did today, got to watch the air show, so there's no need to go down to the beach tomorrow to watch it, but it's a repeat tomorrow. But OMAs, first responders, we take our hats off to all of them folks that's been out there in these last unbearable days doing what they do. So if you're in the area, this is when you miss Pinky Kravis. He would broadcast it and rave about it, and we just hope folks come and have a good time. Summer's fast approaching to an end, but there's still a lot of good stuff going on in Atlantic City. And I don't know if all of my commissioners, but probably some of you have received some complaints last weekend with the triathlon going through some of the towns, but it really went well. And in 2 more weeks, we'll have the Ironman race, and that's another huge, about 28,000. I think it's 2,800 participants, so in that area. But it's good for the region. Folks are making money. Unfortunate, you still see signs says help wanted. There's plenty of work out there. Folks want to work, but until they cut off this damn stimulus and this extra money, we're gonna still be fighting the same stuff. It is unfortunate. I tell a joke all the time. If the pie factory was in some of them bedroom, they wouldn't work there neither. But at some point, something's got to give. Folks are begging for workers, and it's plenty of work out there. And unfortunate for those who are working, are doing double shifts, triple shifts, because they don't have the manpower. But we certainly appreciate what they do to make all of us look good, not only in Atlantic City, in Atlantic County, but because when Atlantic City does well, everybody does well in the region. So whether it's Airbnbs, et cetera. So just wanted to do a kudo out for last weekend, and tomorrow's the air show.
the air show, and we have extra trains coming in for the air show, which is really nice when we get those, you know, when we've had those for some of the conventions in the past, they started that, and that really helps out a lot. And those aerial pictures were outrageous from the Fish concert. I mean, they were just unbelievable.
That's a lot of folks down there.
Yeah.
And had no problem on the beach. I mean, they told me get out the water, they got out the water. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a weird group of folks, but listen, I tell them all the time, it's your doctors, it's your lawyers, it's you politicians.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
My boss.
Yeah, you clerks. But it's
My
amazing.
vice president.
Former sheriffs. I mean, it's a lot.
They're out there.
Yeah, former sheriff.
Yeah, but I'm glad folks had a good time.
I wish I had the time to go there.
Has anybody received any written communications and petitions that they'd like to discuss? Okay, seeing none, we'll now open to the public comments portion. Anyone that would like to speak, since no one's here, but if they are on, if anybody would like to speak, just type yes in the question and answer box, and you'll be raised as an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and where you reside. Nope.
We have a
Okay,
guest on.
we'll close public comments. Do we have anybody? I don't see anybody. Okay, any comments for the good of the order?
Madam Chair, just one, I'd just like to, again, we had a moment of silence earlier for Mayor Battistini, John Battistini of Estill Manor. He served his community for many, many, many years. He was Mr. Estill Manor. Like Chuck Chiarello was Mr. Buena Vista Township, John Battistini filled that role, was a former mayor of Estill Manor. He loved his community, donated many, many hours to it. His wife died a few years before him, and we're certainly going to miss him. So I just wanted to recognize Mayor Battistini's service to Estill Manor and to Atlantic County.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any other comments for our commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So Saturday, myself and Commissioner Dees had the honor to be at the retirement ceremony for Mayor Gary Giberson, who basically started his political career, I think, on council, I think they said 1983, and was the mayor of Port Republic for over 30 years. It was supposed to be their whole Port Pride Day, but they were expecting rain, which didn't come until after midnight. But they canceled that, so they will have the fireworks and the Port Pride Day this coming Saturday. But again, Commissioner Dees was able to bring a nice proclamation that was made up by our clerk and present that there. I presented one on behalf of the county executive who couldn't make it. There was congressmen and other people that were there, but the man's very well respected, and he is Port Republic. When it came time to them not knowing what to do to have to replace their municipal building, somehow they came up with a plan to sell dirt, right? And they sold enough dirt to build the building and didn't cost taxpayers a penny. So I mean, how innovative can you be?
Yeah.
And if anybody knows Gary, he's a true character.
One of a kind.
He's one of a kind, and he'll be missed at the Mayor's Association, I'm sure. And it's nice to see him finally, hang it up. The only person on the ballot this year for election to mayor is his wife. So there'll be another Mayor Giberson unless there's a writing campaign against her.
Yeah.
They have an interim mayor right now who is their council president, and it looks like she'll pick the torch up from him and carry it on.
Very nice. Thank you, Commissioner. I attended the Jewish Family Services grant. Well, they had a ribbon cutting for the expansion of their food bank. And that was just phenomenal what they do there. And you go in and all the volunteers, I mean, these volunteers go from in their 80s or 90s down to, 10, 11 years old. So, and what they have there and all the supplies that they're getting and donating. So people are donating money as well. So we have a lot of these throughout the county. unfortunately. But there's one woman that got up and spoke, and I believe she's from Atlantic City, and about how it was so helpful for her to be able, and because they also offered transportation there. So, I mean, it was a very heartening story that she was telling. So that was, you know, a nice ceremony, a nice thing that they're doing there. And I'd also like to wish my colleagues an early happy Labor's Day, because we will not be here till afterwards. And remind everybody that Tuesday, August 31st is Overdose Awareness Day. And Hope Recovery Center is holding a candlelight visual in Mays Landing at their recovery center starting at 6:30. And, you know, going with the mental health issues, September is also National Suicide Prevention Month, and I do believe there's also a walk somewhere within Atlantic County having to do with that. Any other thing? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Okay, we are adjourned.